Breaking news! A storm is brewing in Baltimore, and it has nothing to do with the weather. With just 6 days until the Ravens clash with the Buffalo Bills on Sunday Night Football, what should be a week of pure excitement has suddenly turned into one filled with mystery, speculation, and growing unease. One of the team's biggest offseason moves, a player many believe could redefine this defense, hasn't been seen in weeks, and no one seems to have a clear answer why. Is this just precaution, or something much bigger? But before we move on, make sure you hit that like button if you're a true Ravens fan. It's always amazing to see fans of all ages supporting this team. And if you feel like it, comment, "Go Ravens," down below and show the flock some love. Let's get right into it. Jaire Alexander, the name that brought electricity through the Ravens fan base when news broke of his arrival. One of the league's premier cornerbacks, known for his tight coverage, elite instincts, and game-changing ability, was supposed to solidify a Baltimore secondary already packed with talent. But here we are, less than a week away from one of the most anticipated season openers in recent Ravens memory, and the pressing reality is, Alexander hasn't suited up since August 9th. That's right, we're looking at nearly a full month without a single padded practice. No team drills, no 11 on 11 reps, nothing. And as of today, he's still MIA. That means no real work with the rest of the defense, no game speed reps, and no chemistry building with the guys he'll be relying on when the lights come on against the Bills. Now, technically, his name hasn't shown up on the injury report in a way that rules him out for week 1. On paper, it's still a wait-and-see situation. But let's be real. Any Ravens fan who's followed this team through the past few years knows how quickly optimism can turn into cold reality when it comes to player health. Jeff Zrebiec said it best, if Alexander doesn't practice by Wednesday, it's hard to imagine him suiting up Sunday night. And even if he does manage to return on Thursday, how much can he really contribute after missing a month of action? Especially considering one of those 2 potential practice days is just a walkthrough. That's not enough for a guy dealing with a history of injuries. And sure, people will say, we didn't sign Jaire Alexander for the regular season. It's about the playoffs. That's true, to an extent, but this isn't just any game. This is Buffalo. This is Josh Allen. This is Stephon Diggs, Dalton Kincaid, and an offense that can light up the scoreboard. This is a statement game, the kind of game that sets the tone for a Super Bowl contending team. And the reality is simple, the Ravens need all hands on deck to make that statement. Jaire Alexander was brought here to make that kind of impact. His absence wouldn't be a death sentence for the defense. The Ravens still boast depth and versatility, but there's no denying it would be a blow. Alexander is the type of corner who can erase half the field. He makes life easier for everyone else. When he's out there, it's not just about coverage. It's about confidence, swagger, identity. And it's not just Alexander who's raising eyebrows. On the offensive side, another key contributor, one who rarely gets the recognition he deserves, has quietly disappeared from practice, too. Pat Rickard, the Swiss Army knife of the offense, hasn't practiced since August 14th. That's 2+ weeks of silence, and suddenly this offense, which is expected to be explosive, is missing a huge cog in its machine. Now, Rickard isn't flashy. He's not putting up fantasy football numbers, but real Ravens fans know what he brings. As a blocker, as a pass catcher, as a guy who opens lanes for Derrick Henry and gives Lamar Jackson time, he's vital. His physicality and versatility are things you can't just plug and play with someone else. And this is where concern starts to creep in. Are these absences precautionary? Or are we on the edge of a larger issue heading into week 1? It's fair to ask, especially considering the Ravens' well-documented history with early season injuries. The team has worked hard to improve its strength and conditioning staff in recent years, and yes, it's been a massive upgrade, but lingering injuries to cornerstone players before a single snap has been played? That's not the kind of start you want. Of course, it's not all doom and gloom. Lamar Jackson is still Lamar Jackson, calm, focused, and ready to lead this team into battle. A viral clip of him connecting on a perfect deep ball with a high school wide receiver during a show appearance only added to the growing buzz. Even in a non-game setting, Lamar's timing, anticipation, and ball placement looked elite. That's not just a cool moment, that's a reminder of how far he's come. It tells you one thing loud and clear, Lamar can build chemistry with anybody. So imagine what he'll do this year with Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, and of course, Derrick Henry. The weapons are in place. The talent is there. But for this team to truly hit its ceiling, the Ravens need their full arsenal, and that means getting Jaire Alexander and Pat Rickard back on the field. If Jaire Alexander does indeed miss week 1, the ripple effects won't just stop at the secondary, they'll touch nearly every part of the Ravens' defensive strategy. Because Alexander isn't just any cornerback. He's the type of player who allows the defense to be more aggressive, more creative, and more confident. Without him, everything shifts. The safeties might have to play deeper. The blitz packages might become more conservative, and that's a dangerous game to play against a quarterback like Josh Allen. Allen thrives when given space and time. If Baltimore's defensive backs are forced to give extra cushion because the top corner isn't ready, then suddenly you're giving Allen just what he wants: windows to attack, mismatches to exploit, and the freedom to extend plays with his legs. And in that scenario, Diggs, Davis, and Kincaid become even more dangerous. That's why the uncertainty around Alexander is so critical. It's not just about one guy being out, it's about how it alters the very DNA of this defense. And for a unit that's aiming to be among the NFL's elite, that's a significant hurdle to overcome in the very first game of the season. Now, to be fair, the Ravens are not strangers to adversity. This franchise has built its identity around next man up. They found diamonds in the rough, made starters out of undrafted free agents, and battled through more injury-plagued seasons than most teams would survive. But make no mistake, Jair Alexander was brought in to elevate this team, not to sit on the sideline. And the longer this absence continues without clear answers, the more uneasy this fan base will become. And speaking of unease, let's not overlook the quiet disappearance of Pat Rickard. Because as flashy as this revamped offense looks with all the new weapons, Rickard is the glue guy. The one who doesn't get talked about much but does all the dirty work. The one who helps Derrick Henry bulldoze through defenders and gives Lamar just enough time to make magic. When he's not out there, defenses play Baltimore differently. They can key in on different tendencies, crowd the line, or dare Lamar to test deeper routes without the comfort of that added blocker. His absence changes the tone, especially in short yardage or red zone situations where the Ravens leaned on Rickard to create just enough chaos for others to shine. Again, no official word yet on the severity of his issue, but when a player misses 2 weeks of practice without public explanation, it raises eyebrows. So now we're here, 6 days from kickoff, 2 vital players in limbo, and a massive opportunity waiting under the bright lights of Sunday Night Football. The fans are buzzing. The players are amped. The expectations? Sky high. But there's also this underlying tension, this uneasy silence surrounding the health of guys like Alexander and Rickard. What happens next? Do they surprise us all and show up to practice midweek, ready to roll? Do the Ravens hold them back, choosing to play the long game rather than risking them early? Or are we seeing the beginning of yet another season where injuries start to chip away at a Super Bowl caliber roster? These are the tough questions no one wants to face heading into week 1. And it's why the next few days of practice will be some of the most closely watched in recent Ravens history. Every report, every injury update, every quote from John Harbaugh, they all matter now, because the window is open, but it's not going to stay open forever. And here's the final piece of the puzzle that makes this whole situation even more tense. The Ravens have competition, not just on the field this Sunday, but in the AFC arms race. Kansas City, Cincinnati, Miami, Buffalo. These aren't teams you can stumble against and hope to catch up later. Week 1 matters. The tone matters. The statement you make on national television matters. And Baltimore has a chance to send a message, but only if their best are ready to go. So what do you think, Ravens fans? How concerned are you about Jair Alexander and Pat Rickard potentially missing week 1? Are you confident in the team's depth to step up? Or do you think these absences could spell trouble in a high-stakes showdown with Buffalo? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Ravens news all season long. Hit that like button to support the flock, and check out the other videos on your screen right now to stay in the loop on everything Ravens.